about 10-15 minutes. The next one's on its way. Got a breach. There we go. Out you come, little one. Out you come. There you go. That was quick, wasn't it? There we go. Get that fluid off your face so you can breathe. There you go. A little squeak. A little squeak. Well done, you. I can get a good grip with the linen glove rather than with the plastic glove. You can't grip with the plastic glove. All right, little one, there we go. Let me dry you off. There you go. So what's the time? Oh, 12:30. So you were about 20 minutes after your brother, weren't you? What are you? Let me just get this glove off. Hang on, Lex. Let me just clamp him. Another boy. Right, let's see if we can get this placenta out. No, it doesn't want to come yet. I just put that there. I clamp the placenta so that we don't lose it. It'll let go when it's ready. All right, you. Let's give you a little bit of a rub, hey? Get you dried in a little bit. You're a little bit mucusy, aren't you? Hey? Yes, you are. So the first pup must have been in the first horn, because then we waited about an hour and a half for the second pup to come down, so that must have come from the second horn. So there's a uterine horn on this side and one on the other side, so it's like a U shape, and that comes down to the birth canal. So must have had one in the side and then two in the other side, or vice versa, because the two in the one side, they tend to come a lot faster. Lexi, there's your baby. Don't want to lose that placenta. And all sorts of troubles if you have retained products up there. It'll let go when it's ready. Just leave that there. You did so well, Lexi. Yes, look at your three little babies. Look, you haven't said hello to this one yet. This is your little boy. You're tired, aren't you? Look, here's your little boy. Good girl. Good girl. G'day guys, welcome back. I know I said I wasn't going to do another flip cup for a while, but I've had something in my mind that I want to try. It's a sandwich pour. Now, yes, I've done them before. Here's one here that I did earlier, one I prepared earlier. This is with my global paint. So I wasn't that happy with it. I'll show you how it's kind of split. So I'm going to go again today with, you can see on the sides, see how the paint kind of splits as it tries to stretch to go over the sides of the canvas. So I'm going to go again, and you can see how in here the green's kind of starting to separate from the white. Yeah, just not crisp and clear. So I'm going to go again, and I'm using all Mont Marte paints today, and I'm going to do a bigger one. I'm going to see if having a little bit more paint will just help a little bit. So normally I have about 1200 grams of mixed paint for this size. This is a 40 centimetre by 80 centimetre, which is 16 by 32. So normally I have 1200 grams. Today I've got 1400 grams. So basically almost an extra cupful. And I'm going to go with that and see how that goes. Before I get started, I'm going to show you a couple of my ghost pours. This one's dry. This one was the aqua brown and gold on the white background. So that one has dried beautifully. Love it. I'd love to do a bigger one like that for my lounge room. I'm getting tired of the paintings I've got up in my lounge room. I want to change them over. And then this one, also dry. This was the silver background, and this had the pink and the burgundy and the rose gold. The rose gold looks more of a copper. I may have to add like a little bit of pink or something to it, but let me see if I can show you how that shines. I don't know if it'll pick it up. But yeah, that one's really pretty. Happy with that one. You can see the gold, the rose gold there shimmering, and the silver background. So really, really pretty, that one. That one may even get a coat of varnish. This size to send to the States, $250 Australian dollars for the painting and the postage. So if anybody wants that size, let me know. $250 Australian. All right, let's get to today's pour. Now I've got 2 big cups of white, and that is the Mont Marte Studio Acrylic in the white. It's a little bit thinner than the other colours I've found. So I've mixed these with my 70% glue, 30% water, and then the colours I've mixed with the 60-40. Empty, I need to make some more. So just leaves a little mound. Do you want to see? Oh, nearly knocked that over. So yeah, the white's a little bit tricky, especially if you're doing a sandwich pour, because you can't have your white too thick, because then your cells won't pop through. So it just leaves a little mound. So that's the 70-30. 1, 2, 3. It's gone. So that's the white. Yeah, so I've got 500 grams of white, 500 grams of white, 100 grams of colour, that's 1400. And the colours are being mixed 1-to-1 with the pouring medium. So I'm just going to put in 3 drops of treadmill silicone into each of these colours. This one's raw sienna. Oops, I think that was 4. This one is marina, which is a really pale turquoise, and then over here we've got coastal turquoise, which is basically just turquoise with a little bit of blue in it. And then the navy that I make as well. So I don't have the bottles because I've made the colours. Even the raw sienna, it was a little bit pale. I added a little blob of what did I add? A little bit of burnt umber, just to make it a little bit, because it was kind of looking a little bit yellow ochreish, the Mont Marte raw sienna, so I just darkened it just a touch. Let's blue always thickens up. I'm just going to add a couple of drops of water to the blue. I don't know why, it's always a bit thicker than the other colours. So even if you say, well, I say 1 to 1, you always have to just check it, because it might be a little bit thicker or it might be a little bit thinner than all your other paints, and you just want them all to be the same consistency. So I've got 4 big cups here, and I'm going to do a flip-flop pour. I'm not going to do a flip and drag because I don't really want stripies with a sandwich pour. I'd like just a more blended background, so I'm just going to do a flip-flop. That's still a little bit thick in comparison with the 2 either side. It's leaving a bigger mound. So I'm going to put white in the bottom. That's going to be my sandwich, my bottom layer of my sandwich. And then these are my fillings, and then the top slice of bread over the top, the rest of the white. It's going to be a little bit tricky, I think, because it's such a big full cup, but let's see. So each cup has to be, I have to use half a cup in, what am I doing? No, I have to use this whole cup between these 4. Yep. So try and use equal amounts. This whole cup is going between the 4 cups, so let's just see if we can get them even. And then the little sandwich fillings will go in, and then the rest of the white on top. So basically going to just do a flip-flop, which is flip the cup over and then kind of just sort of give it a bit of a wriggle around, flop it over. Yeah, not going for stripes today. Okay, that's that one done. And I'm going to layer them differently. I've got my little book on the side there of what I want to do with them, just so that each one's different. So I'm going to start with, so obviously what's in this cup has to go through four layers, just 1 layer of each. So we'll start with that one in there, and then the navy is going to go next. Just have to make sure I've got enough to go in all the cups. And then I'm going to put the burnt sienna, not the burnt sienna, the raw sienna in that one. So they'll all still have the same colours, they're just going to be in different orders, just to change things up a little bit. Okay, so that's the first layer done. And then this one's having navy over the top of that. Hopefully my navy won't get lost. And then over the navy is going to be the pale aqua. You don't need very much colour, it's just a little bit of colour, hint of colour. It's all going to be nicely diffused with the white, hopefully. Hopefully it'll all blend nicely, so you don't want too much colour. So I'm kind of going for a bit of a beachy look with these colours, blues and turquoises, and then that's my sand colour. The navy there, so that's a little bit of navy left for that one. Okay, so that's 2 layers in each, and then we go again. So the marina, which is the pale turquoise in that one. Just as well I wrote it down because I'd never remember what I was doing when I'm trying to talk to you at the same time. Okay, I haven't practiced these colours. I have no idea what they're going to do. Okay, so this is the rest of the navy in this one now. I'm hoping that the brown won't take over, and I'm hoping that the navy won't get lost. Because the turquoise, you know, they're kind of pale anyway, so they're going to get more pale with the white. So it's probably going to be quite a, I'm assuming it's going to be quite a pale turquoise pour, which is fine. What I'm after. Okay, and then what am I up to? This one needs some sienna. And then they've all got sienna. That's just the only one that has to have sienna. Oh, and this is the last one here. So this is the last layer. So there's not very much paint at all, is there? Hopefully I've calculated correctly. I've just sort of guesstimated how much paint to use and how much white paint to use. But as I said, I just want a really, really pale, pretty looking painting. So a little bit less of the middle sandwich ingredients that I would usually have. And then this one's just got the rest of this, I think. Don't need this again. No, I need this again over here. I tell a lie. Nearly used it all up. Better scrape every little bit out. So in these cups I did 40 grams of pouring medium and 40 grams of paint. No, I didn't. I did 50-50, sorry, 50-50, which is 100, which is 400. And then, as I said earlier, these have got 500 each, so that's 1,000, so 1,400. And then this just needs the pale turquoise and we're done. That was pretty easy, wasn't it? I just think it'll be nice to mix them up. I always do the same layers, just because it's easy. It takes a little bit of time doing, you know, one cup at a time. They don't all have the same, but there's not that much paint in here, and you don't have to wait too long, do you? We'll get it done because there's only a little bit of paint. So that's all my paint colours in there. Now I just have to try and top it off with the white. Maybe not so easy. We'll see what happens. That's a little bit harder to do with the full cup. It was just sort of plonking straight down. Let's put a little bit on each first and then I'll come back. Get to really drizzle it on gently. If you pour it in from too high up, it'll just sink straight through. So get as close as you can and just pour gently, little amounts out. If you do a big heavy blob, it'll just go straight through. So little thin amounts are better. Because you want it to sit on top. You don't want it to go straight through and mix. That's the whole idea of this technique. It sits on top. Now, how are they looking? Oh, you need some more. There you go. Who else wants some? You could do with a little bit. Oh, very exciting news. I forgot to tell you. Here am I carrying on about painting. I was up all night. Lexi had her babies. My teacup poodle, Lexi, she had her babies early this morning. I did video it. I don't know whether or not it's something that you guys want to see. You know, it's a bit graphic, I guess, if you're not into blood and placentas and waters breaking and all that kind of thing. You might not want to watch it, but tossing up between whether I should actually pop it up as a whole video or just a little snippet in the beginning of one of my videos like I do sometimes. Yeah, let me know if you're interested. So yeah, the first one, she went into labour yesterday morning, Wednesday, today's Thursday the 3rd it is today of October. So she went into labour yesterday, and don't really know where I want to put these yet, but anyway. And then the first baby, well, she started contracting at about 8:30 last night. Took her into my bedroom. First pup was born at about 10:30 last night, and then the next one, and that was a little girl, and the next one, little boy, he was born just after midnight, and then the second little boy, he was born about 20 minutes after that, 12:30 this morning. Was it about 1? Oh, I can't remember now. It's all a blur. I was trying to sleep in between contractions, but I didn't manage to get much sleep done. Okay, now, flip-flop. So, as I said, I don't want stripy, so I'm just going to flip it and kind of work it around like that, and then that one I can sort of move around and just see what happens, see where the paint goes. That one's released already. I did spray the cups very lightly with some silicone spray, just so that the paint will flow out easily, so I don't waste too much on the inside of the cups. Okay, here we go. Flip-flop. I probably should have taken that to the corner. Oh my gosh, look at those colours. It's just what I wanted. Going a little bit stripy now, but probably I'll tip those off. I'm hoping I've got enough paint. Oh look, I should have. I made up extra. I did make extra to what I would normally have. It's a bit frothy because I just made the mix. Oh, that is gorgeous. Alright, now, can I go backwards? I don't know that I can go backwards. See, that one's got a lot of white there and blue here, so I kind of want to flip back that way. What about if I stand? Oh, I don't know where to stand. I'm going to have to just come over here and just maybe come around that way, I think. Oh, that was shocking, Julie. Shocking. I was trying not to hit this. That's okay. It'll be all right. I hope. Now this one I'll come sort of bring in here to fill in this gap. I'm trying not to do stripies. It's not really working. I think I just need to flip down more. I've got a bit of a stripy there. I don't know why. Just going to pop a little bit of colour through here. Catch the drips. Alright, so those cups are empty. Nothing left in those. So, well, that's looking pretty. Actually, don't mind that little bit of a fine line there. This is a bit of a shame how... I think I was trying not to hit that cup there, and anyway. Now I'm going to tilt. I'm going to cover, because I'm not going to worry about, you know, my stripies and keeping my stripes in line and all that. I'm basically going to cover most of the canvas first. So this is a really quite an easy technique, I think, if you struggle with, you know, keeping your composition or maybe losing your cells or overstretching your cells. It's a relatively good technique because you don't have to worry too much about, you know, overstretching things. I've got plenty of paint, so I don't need to worry too much. So obviously aim for the areas that you need to cover. Right, now I'm going to try and turn you around. And I just put my fingers in the side. It's all right, I'll tip that off in a minute. Oh yes, those colours are divine. I could have even have done with more white, you know. Less colour, more white. But it's a beautiful, beautiful shading. Right, now let's get to the other side. See, this is where I would normally torch, but because it's a sandwich pour, I'm not going to. I'm going to cover everything, and then I can still torch and move the paint a little bit. Now, I don't want the paint to go off the edge there, as you can see. I want it to come down here. Get rid of those stripies. Okay, so that's just gone over, hasn't it? Just. Now, let me just fix my composition, bring the paint back to the middle a little bit. Now is when I'm going to torch. Oh my gosh, it is gorgeous. You can even get away with not torching that. Oh my gosh, love it. Let's torch. And not too many cells, it doesn't have to be covered in cells. So let's just, I'm basically going to be popping bubbles because it's very frothy. And get a few cells popping up. Just have to be careful of your white, as I said earlier. If your white's too thick, the cells have trouble coming through. I haven't done a sandwich pour with the Mont Marte before, so this will be a good test to see what it's going to do, whether or not I need to keep it at my 70-30 mix that I did today, or whether I can get away with the 60-40. See, I'm torching all this white in here and it's not really doing anything, so maybe I can get away with doing the 60-40. Actually, I just had to get a bit closer there to pop some bubbles, so we'll see what happens. I can see there are some cells underneath. There's not much happening though. So maybe the white could have gone with the 60-40. Same as the other colours were 60-40. Because they're not much is really not having any cells coming up through all that white, which is saying it's still a little bit thick. The white is obviously an opaque colour, so it's a heavy, dense colour. It's going to be more difficult for the cells to pop up through the white anyway. And then if it's thicker, then it makes it even more difficult for the cells to pop through. But I did want, you know, lots of white negative space, white background with this, so just continue round and round, popping bubbles. It's a big canvas, I've got a lot of area to cover. Looks like there's a bit of unmixed paint just in there. It's a bit of a shame really, because I was hoping for slightly bigger cells. So I definitely will do this again and yeah, make my white 60-40, same as the other paint. See what happens. Once I finish torching, I'll give it a tilt and stretch some of these little cells out. I've only got little ones, but that's okay. I've done other paintings now with huge cells and lots of cells. They don't all have to be the same. You can have some with minimal cells. I didn't want that many cells in this painting. I wanted it more of a blurred look. But in saying that, I think I would have liked a few more cells. Oh. See, these are pretty here. Look, I'm getting cells up through there. Yeah, not really much through here. Might have another little go at torching actually, just through that white. Get a little bit closer. Try not to burn the paint though. So I'm getting a lot closer than I would normally get here. Just going to see what happens if I can get anything else to come up. Moving the torch really fast though, so it doesn't stay in one spot for too long. Look how close I got there. That's a bit too close. See how small those cells are that have popped up? That's because my mix is a little bit too thick there. The white, it's the white. Alright, so that's telling me something. I've learned something from this pour. That even though the Mont Marte white looks really thin, hardly has a mound at all when I mix it up. I'm thinking it's going to have to still be mixed at the same consistency because it's acting differently once it's down on the canvas. Strange, isn't it? Okay, that'll do. I've got some more cells up. Let's give them a little bit of a... Ooh. Oh, that's a lot of cells. Okay, gone a bit crazy there. Now, as I normally do, left to right. just to open the cells up a little bit. Let's see if I can get some off my top left corner. It'll be your bottom right corner. Just, that's better. Just open that up a touch. Come back. I've just realised there's not much of the raw sienna, is there? And I was worried that it was going to take over. Look how close I got over here. See, I've overdone it on that side. Take some of that off actually. Now it's going to move the weight of the paint back to where I want it. I'm going to take it off there because it's just too much there. Now I'm just checking the composition. I'm just trying to open up this area here. I think I still need to take some more off there. It's very busy, that corner, in comparison to what the rest of it's doing. It's just a little bit too busy. So let me get the paint back down there. Off you go. Thanks for coming. Thanks for going. There's something in there. There's a little blob or something in there. It's not not letting my paints move properly. You know what I'm doing, don't you? I'm automatically straightening up my lines. Stop it, woman. You didn't want lines. Okay. So I've overstretched the thing a little bit. But hey, didn't those cells grow? My gosh. So I've overstretched them a little bit by trying to get that off there. But for a first experiment, I think it's pretty good. Love this section here. That blurred background, and I've got some of the raw sienna there. Don't really like that blobby bit there. Not bad for a first experiment, I must say. But I will no doubt just scrape this because it's a big canvas. If I'm not, happy with it, I wouldn't even give it my 70%. Yeah, just because I over-torched here, so it's a bit of a cluster. I've over-torched there. So I'm going to scrape this. I'm going to go again. I'm going to make the white thinner. And yeah, do it again. Okay? So, but I think, yeah, very, very pretty, very nice for my first attempt. And I really like those colours. I was going to put green in, and at the last minute I decided no, I won't put the green in. So happy I didn't, because it's kind of throwing a little bit of a green there anyway because of the turquoise mixing with the navy. It's giving that kind of a green hue to it. What do you think? Do you like it? I do. There's this little bit here where I made a mess with the cup. That bugs me there. And then that section there that I over torched, and they've kind of overstretched a little bit. But apart from that, some really, really pretty areas. And I like the amount of paint. That was a good amount of paint, I think, to use. I didn't struggle to cover the canvas. Covered it really easily. Look at those little brown cells. Really pretty. And because my mix was my white was thick. I over-torched, got too close. So I got the cluster up there. And then when I tried stretching everything out, they kind of all bumped into each other rather than being separate like that. You know, they bumped into each other and it ended up like that. So I don't like that. So, yep, going again. Same over here, over-torched. Those are nice. Those ones there with the white rings, they're nice and separate. But again, up here, too busy. I couldn't stretch them out. So, yeah, happy with that. I just don't love it. If I could keep that left quarter, I'd be really happy with it. So, yeah, I think, yeah, I'm going to go again. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.